Happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Behind the Wheel. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Oh, we forgot. We have the audio from yesterday still on. And we don't want to have this on because I got demonetized because I have this stupid music going on. How's everyone doing? I hope it's Halloween. If you're in the house right now, and watching this, thank you. But if you're out doing Halloween stuff, I wish I was out there doing it with you. How do I get this to... God, stop. I don't want any sound. There we go. And I don't want any of that. Okay. So, other big news is that we finally have figured out the 1080p problem that we've been having with YouTube and OBS. If you look down at the little gear in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, when you put your mouse or whatever over the screen, you now have a 1080p HD option, which I worked all last night. And the reason why I'm kind of late today is because I've been testing it out just to make sure that it's working. But yes, folks, we've finally ventured into the 21st century. This stream is now, from this point on, will always be 1080p, which is amazing. You don't know how much messing around with the settings of everything that I've got it took to get to this point. And it's probably been 2 weeks that I've been working on this to try to get 1080p going. I'm so proud of myself now that I have 1080p going. It's just like, it's amazing. I watched, I think the first stream we've actually done full 1080p was last night's Alien Isolation stream, and I watched it back today, and I was totally blown away by how different it looks from the broadcast before that. I would go back and erase all the other broadcasts because they're all in 720. I think there are a couple in there mixed in that might be 1080p just by mistake. I somehow chanced upon a setting that gave me 1080p, and that's the only reason. I think maybe the Barcelona race was in 1080p, but I think everything after that was in 720p, has been in 720p. So it's been like 2 or 3 weeks that we've been in 720p. I'm sorry. I'm going on about this whole thing, but it's been a real journey for me to try to like get this stream looking and sounding the best that it can be. Now all I have to work on is myself and my content. But we now have the basics down. We still don't have a webcam. At this point, I don't know when that's going to come. I'm hoping that just hearing the sound of my voice is enough for you guys to not have to want to follow me and not have me on the screen. We'll figure that out at some point. But anyways, I kind of want to try. I'm gonna run a race, and I want to see, just test wise, see how the 1080p looks in racing mode, because like I said, I've only had one race that I've been able to do, and I've been able to broadcast in 1080p. I'm doing this more of like as a test than as trying to get points or anything. Okay, we'll get into let's see what type of trouble we can get into the daily races. Let's ding our daily rating score, our driver rating. we'll do this one. Let's put in the qualifying time first. I should have gotten the Atenza. You know what? Nah, it's okay. We'll drive the Porsche. Excuse me. I just had water. Now I've got the water burps. How's everyone's day going? I'm hoping everyone is out. I'm hoping no one watches the stream because I want to think that everyone is out trick-or-treating. Now, when you come back, it would be kind of cool if you watch the stream. But I want to, think that everyone's out doing normal holiday stuff. Oh, you know what? Game volume is still pretty high because I was playing Alien last night. Guys, I know, keep on pushing this. If you're really a fan of Alien or like horror movies, the Alien stream is dope. It's one of the hardest games that I've ever played. And we're in a good spot in that game right now where we're dealing with the alien. Tune in. It's a fun stream. I know it's not anywhere related to GT or G racing or anything, but it's a nice break from, the normal race stuff that everyone else does. All right, so that's right. I'm also using the left stick because I've been using the left stick for the past couple hours. This probably could be a little louder for Alien Isolation. I rarely ever use the left stick now because I only play this game and I never get to use that left stick anymore. I think that might be a good volume for the game. Let's try. No, that's going to probably be too loud. Probably like right there, I think would be a good volume for the game. Okay, let's go. Yeah, that sounds loud enough. Yeah, I hope everyone's out trick-or-treating. I hope everyone's being safe and not eating candy corn laced with LSD or Snickers bars with razor blades in them. Milk duds were always like I don't know anyone that eats milk duds outside of Halloween. I mean, I guess people eat them at the movie theater, but that's just such a Halloween candy, like milk duds and almond joy. I never eat on Halloween. What's another Halloween candy? Reese's Pieces. I'm definitely a big Reese's Cups fan. Maybe not a Reese's Pieces fan, but that really isn't a Halloween. Do they even make Reese's Pieces anymore? I don't know if they do. The worst is whenever people would give you the tin foil of nickels, and I was just like, really? Come on. It was probably cheaper to go out and get me candy. What am I going to do with nickels? I'm 5 years old, man. I got no use for nickels. And then you would get those assholes that would give you toothpaste and a toothbrush. And really? Come on, man. You obviously don't get the point of Halloween. I know they're looking out for my teeth, but I want candy. I got a toothpaste and a toothbrush at home. Are you assuming I don't have toothpaste and toothbrush at home? It's pretty pretentious of you. What other candies there are? Snickers were always the ones that you always wanted to make sure that you got Snickers. Because that's like a meal. That's like a meal candy. Like if you're stuck in a desert island, and you had like a Snickers bar, you're probably good for a couple hours. Maybe even like a week if you can manage to ration it out well enough. though I would imagine that the tropical heat would get to the candy bar at some point, making it pretty tough to ration out over the course of a couple days. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine by like this third or fourth hour of being stuck on the desert island, your Snickers would already be at the point where it's melting, right? Peanut M&Ms is always a good Halloween candy. Three Musketeers is another one that I generally only do at Halloween. I don't know about the nougat thing. I mean, it's cool and all, and I like it, but a whole Three Musketeers bar, like a king size bar, it's a little much. Like, I need a pint of like milk in order to wash that down. Oh, that hurts. Reese's Cups, definitely. The single cups. Which, for some reason, I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory of mine that I've made up in my overly imaginative world, where somehow, some way, the single cup you give out at Halloween is different than the peanut butter cup you get at 7-Eleven. It's going to be some food for thought for you guys this Halloween. If you got single Reese's Cups, compare them with the ones that you get from 7-Eleven, and I swear they're different. Like, there's a special Halloween recipe that they put on the ones that are singles. Halloween's also very popular with blackberry licorice is like really popular. I can't stand black licorice. I like licorice. I mean, I like Twizzlers, but I can't deal with the black licorice. It's just nasty. I guess that Twizzlers technically is not licorice, but licorice-like. It's just not nasty. I really don't want to be racing today. I mean, I'm really just doing this to test the integrity of my 1080p. But it looks phenomenal on my little screen down there. We're also doing 60 frames per second, which we haven't been doing. We've only been doing 30 frames per second. So now everything should be on you guys' end really super crisp and nice. Be as crisp as potato chip. Now I remember back in the good old days, you would get stuff like candy apples, which is awesome for Halloween. Definitely a huge mess to deal with, but it was always dope when someone would make the Halloween treat that they were giving out. I mean, you'd have to hit their house fast enough so that you'd get them while they still had some to give out. But it was always nice when you did make it there on time. I'm cool with Rice Krispies treats. But no one does that anymore. because everyone's afraid of LSD laced Halloween candy. Which, as an adult, if my kid got LSD laced candy, I would definitely take it away and try to report those people. Then I'd be like, sweet, I got LSD laced candy. Just kidding. Just kidding. Go trip out with the wife. Honey, have you tried the damn candy apple? I feel like I'm in space, man. Your face is melting. Ooh, that 1080p looks so good on my little preview screen. I feel like I just walked into the future, folks. I'm the master of technology. I mean, I know it's a really simple thing, but they'll burst my bubble. I'm on a technology high right now. I finally kung fu'd my tech into doing what I bid. Doing my bidding. I'm telling you guys, if your tech kung fu is not on YouTube, your stream's not gonna have much of a future. My thumbnail kung fu, I think, is pretty strong right now. Now my tech kung fu is definitely very strong right now. Now I just gotta work on the content. Which I'm hoping I'm an entertaining enough character for everyone to want to watch. I've got some bad days where all I do is jibber and jabber and not really make much sense. But then I have the better coherent days where I'm actually forming full sentences and speaking with intent and perfect diction. I have to work on the diction. Get your head and minds out of the gutter. I said diction. Turn. Well, I'm definitely going slower than my ghost right now, so that doesn't put us in a very good position. I don't even know if I want to be doing this right now. I'm looking at my lap times and just awful. I mean, I have to hit a 145, and I'm putting in a 152. You know, I'm gonna get out of this. I really don't want to ding my score anyway. Just don't feel like racing. I mean, we might come back to this, but you know, I liked yesterday's livery stream. Maybe we'll do another livery because I'm really I'm waiting for this to be over with because I want to see the next schedule and whether or not they have anything planned. It's going to be really lonely when this goes away and all we're left with is daily races. You can't just leave your audience hanging like that, especially if you're going to hype them up with the whole FIA thing, so I would imagine that would come back at some point in time to some degree. Let's see what's going on in the old social network. Believe it or not, I spend probably more time on this social network than I do any other social network. Ooh, that's a nice one. Look at that. Who is this? We're going to have to give them a like. And this is what I was saying, that there's a whole other side to I want to let me like it. Like it. There we go. He's got a lot of followers. Sky Blue. He's from somewhere in Great Britain. That's really nice. It's a nice photo. Wow. And that's a really beautiful livery. This is what I'm saying, is that with the livery editor, you can do really amazing, amazing work. Wow, that's really nice. Let's look at his profile. He's a D driver with a B sportsmanship rating, so he's not a very good driver. But it looks like this guy spends, once again, he's one of those guys that spends a lot of his time on, I wonder how he got this on there. That's really cool. I don't know how you got that in there. Because all of these pictures are generated through on Gran Turismo, so... Oh, so he must do a bunch of bugs. Let's look at this one. This pumpkin bug is sweet. That's really cool. You know what? We're going to give him a follow. Because I imagine those are his liveries. That one's really cool too. The bug's got a lot of cool liveries. I don't know when you would actually erase the bug in this game. I might just buy a bug so I can download. I like this Herbie livery. He's got a bunch of them, man. He's got a Tron car. That's sweet. What else does he have? He's got a nice microbus. Look at that mad. That's really dope. Let's look at this. Let's see what liveries he has. I'm following him now, right? Okay, good. Let's look at this one. That's really nice, and with the wood effect on the side of the doors. I wonder if that was a decal I wonder if that's something he made. That red lining is really hard to do. He spent a lot of time masking that stuff off. The car is probably red underneath, and then it has black layered over that red. Yeah, that's what's going on. So he painted, definitely the rear hood is red, and then all those trim pieces, the little red outline there, that's just the red showing underneath of a matte black decal. I wonder how he got the matte black though. I still haven't. Oh, you know what? There is a texture. There is a texture function, and I never even thought about that. I thought that was just for suit liveries. But I guess you can also use it as a satin effect for the decals so that you can get like that flat black look. It is ever so ubiquitous nowadays with car wrapping. That's a nice one. Real simple. Once again, like, look at that diagonal. Like we did with Jared's car, there's a diagonal there. Really nice placement of those sponsorship stickers. Oh, look, he's got a Tamiya sticker on there as well. He's probably a fellow modeler. And he's got the side decals on the white rear wing, which I'm wondering how he masked it so that they didn't bleed like they did when we were doing Jared's car. There's that Herbie car he's got. Oh, he did a Herbie / Steve McQueen car, or what's Lightning McQueen? Yeah, Lightning McQueen. That's a nice mashup. Yeah, that's really cool. I was hoping that he would have like a. Oh, he does. He has the rusty MG. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, how to do the rust effect, because I would like to. I'm not obviously you wouldn't use it on anything like a sports car. I mean, you could if you wanted to. Um, but yeah, like this whole deal where, and then how did he get the license plate to hang off like that? That is beautiful work right there. That is really, really cool. I mean, would imagine that it's, you know, let's want to download a really good rusty car, and that's probably a good. Let's take a look at some of these rusty cars. Let's see what else he's got for rusty cars. I do like that MG, but I kind of want to get a car that I want to have in my collection. I want a Bug. I definitely want a Bug. I don't know if you've watched any of the other streams, but I'm a big Volkswagen guy. I've been driving Volkswagens, practically my whole life. Okay, so he's still, the texture isn't right here because a rusty car wouldn't shine like that. See that shine that's coming off the roof and all the hood? It doesn't look like he used the texture thing. So these early cars probably he probably doesn't have the texture down, but he's got some really nice liveries. Like I love this. This is great. That's awesome. Wow, that's a really, really nice. That's a really nice car. Yeah, that's super dope. This is one of the black holes you can go down and, if you're bored from racing or whatever, definitely, there's so much of this game that you can discover stuff with. There's a whole, and they don't really say anything about it. Like this menu layout just isn't made to really make any kind of, like, it doesn't. What are the words? It doesn't really advertise or expose the parts of the game that I think a lot of people just overlook. They immediately just go to the racing. The racing is probably what half the game. The rest of it is all this other stuff that is never really, a lot of the majority of the casual users out there, even some of the hardcore users, don't even go into here and they don't even think about it. It's just not something that they think about. And I don't blame them because the layout of this menu doesn't show any of that stuff off. Now I've seen the new menu for GT7. It does a way better job of showing, hey, this is where you've got these options. Tell me, by just looking at this menu, it doesn't really tell you anything. There's no guide on where to go for things. The game doesn't hold your hand at all. So, you don't have any idea that you can go, like Jared yesterday didn't know that he's never even gone into this livery editor. And I bet you that 3/4 of the people that will watch this will never even know that you could do any of this stuff. I haven't even touched this where I can do my helmet. I can do my suit, and I haven't even touched that yet. I wonder how hard doing the helmet is. So wait, can I design my whole crew? All right. What do I do? None. Oh, okay, that takes that away. Okay. All right, texture settings. There's a texture settings flag. How do I turn the dude's head? Can I turn his head? Rotate camera. Oh, okay. So it's just like, oh, Well, how about that? Why is it giving me a Brazilian flag? Okay. It's got my number, but it doesn't have. So what can we do for decals? Let's try to put a decal on here. Maybe spherical? This is new territory for me. Let's just play with this and see what happens. Let's do the Hello Kitty suit. I think your suit's just your suit. And it doesn't matter what car you drive. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So this is what I was talking about, projection method. See how it's warping it? Because I just told it to go spherical. So let's try doing... this is the first time I've done this, guys, so just bear with me. I've never messed with this option. Why can't I change it to my American flag? Okay, well, whatever. Let's try align with surface, and then we'll try the same decal. Not that I'm going to use this. This is just for testing purposes. Although it'd be kind of cool to have a Hello Kitty helmet. Yep. So this is the difference between all of the. So because it's basing the image off of what the image constraints are, it's basing it off of whatever camera angle I'm looking at. That's why it's holding its shape like that. Well, everyone sees your helmet from the side. So maybe we should start from the sides. I don't even know what like a cool helmet design would be. I would have to go look at cool helmet designs. I don't know. Let's look on the internets for cool helmet designs. Give me a second. I have to set OBS up so that I can go swing over to internets, and you'll still have me as audio. Yeah, I've never even messed with this side of a GT. Okay, let me switch you guys over to the desktop. We'll put this. Now you should be able to hear me. All right. We'd always do the martini type. I mean, that's pretty cool looking. It's got this weird, like, I know we have this hexagon design in the decal store. I mean, that's a really cool one. Oh, I like this. I like this straight. The Martini's designs are always some of my favorite designs. This is, when I was talking about design aesthetic, a lot of times my sports striping looks like this type of striping. Because it looks great, you know? It looks really cool. That's more of this must be the Williams drivers. Yeah. This is the Williams driver. I don't know what his name was. I think he was the son of the guy that owned the company or owned the racing team. This Tag Hero one's nice too. That's, I guess, the Corvette racing guys. Yeah, Tommy Milner's helmet. Yeah, I don't know the first thing about helmet design. I mean, it always just seems way... Oh, that's pretty cool, the Adidas one. You know what? Let's, how about this? this is another nerdy fact about me. I'm really big in. I'm just gonna pop over to chat real quick just to make sure no one's chatting with me. Okay, so no one's there. Anyway, uh, I really love Macross. I don't know if you guys would know Macross is this. Big robots. uh, people know it here as Robotech. And it, I mean, it got big here for like a select few that had a channel that was were lucky enough to have a channel that actually broadcast the show. Usually it was a kind of an independent off-brand channel like the WB or something would run this. You can now watch the whole series on Netflix and Amazon. I believe both have the full series both in Japanese and in English, but there is a caveat to it. We're going to get it really off of topic of racing, and this is a really probably terrible non sequitur, but Macross dialogue wise is different than Robotech because when Macross came to the U.S., it was taken over. The property was bought by a company named Harmony Gold, who wanted like that type of kind of space drama anime product to try to sell to American channel or American TV stations. So what they did was they took 3 different anime that have really no relation to each other and tried to make them into its own like entity in the United States. Transformers is kind of the same way. Like Transformers and GoBots kind of come from the same universe too. It's just over here in the United States, different companies would buy the properties for the cartoons and try to, bond them together into one universe. And Robotech was one of them. So Robotech in Japanese has it's still the same ish type of storyline, but there are differences in plot and stuff, especially when you get into what is the Robotech second and third generations has nothing to do with this Macross thing, because this Macross thing existed in its own universe. But it's funny because when Harmony Gold took over the franchise here in the United States, the rest of the generations that would come after this one Macross all had to do with Macross, whereas in Japan, where the anime originated, Macross was different from the second generation, and this is where it gets confusing. The second generation, which is called Southern Cross, is Robotech in the United States is second generation, but in Japan, where it originates, those 2 animes don't have anything to do with each other. And same with the third one. The third one is called Mosbieta Genesis Climber. Has nothing to do with Southern Cross or Macross, but in the United States, it's the third part of the series of Robotech. And they had a Robotech movie that released here that's a completely different universe in Japan that has nothing to do with any of the other 3 cartoons. It's funny. That's what happens. A lot of the cartoons and Power Rangers. If you watch Power Rangers here, it's like parts of it are from other live action shows, and there's all kinds of nepotism. Whenever a Japanese property comes here to the United States, it usually gets slaughtered. So, why we were looking at Macross is I really liked the helmets. I know that was a really end around for our conversation because this is a channel that's kind of based on GT and racing, and as much as I like doing that, I have other things that I do in my life. I can't wait to do some model building. What's it called? Streams. I just don't have the technology, nor do I have the patience to edit that video. I like this helmet. See, I like these red blocks here and this red triangle here. I wonder if I can just get a picture of helmet. Oh, that's cool for the racing helmet. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, we could do something like this. I mean, that wouldn't be too hard to do. It's just a bunch of blocks with, it looks like, you know, they're basically squares that have just cutouts in them. That wouldn't be too hard. I mean, that would be kind of cool. I like the yellow and black one. I wish that these helmets had this sun visor. That's a really cool mock-up. I wonder if that's a motorcycle helmet in Japan. There's something that's closer to what we have as a helmet in here that we can lift for our own. We will steal it like pirates because we are pirates of the interwebs. Now there's another anime that I liked the helmets in. And I actually like the suits too. This is another ship. Yamato. I don't know if you guys have ever watched this. This is gonna really make me sound like an old fart. This is an anime from ooh, do they have a space game? Wow. Wow, World of Warships. Okay. Oh, that's the actual. Oh, no. They kind of made it look like the anime. Anyways, anyhow, this is an anime called Space Battleship Yamato, which when it was brought over here to the United States, they call it Star Blazers. They did keep the name Yamato though. They still call this the Yamato, and the Yamato obviously is, you know, modeled after the old battleship Yamato from World War II. Probably one of the most gun-laden guns or ships out there. That was what it was known for, is how many guns it had. Yeah, got brought over here. I can't remember what company brought it over here. It may have been DIC, but they called it Star Blazers here. But like I said, they didn't change the name of the ship. Really cool anime. Let's see if we can find Space Battleship Yamato's helmet, maybe? Helmet, okay. No, they had a live action movie of this, which was really cool. But you know, I want to do this with the suit. This whole, see how they have this arrow. I like that, but they had a better design of that. That's from the 70s. This might be from the newer series. It looks like, I wonder if they still have the arrow that goes down. I really want to check out. I really want to see the new series because I only have I've got the live action movie on my iTunes account. But I've never seen the new series that they have. See, yeah, it's got this like arrow and these 3 bars here. I don't know if that would be a cool design for. Everyone has like really garish. Let's look at other people's suit liveries. Let's pop back over to Gran Turismo. Give me a second. Okay, so let's pop out of here. I don't have really an experience with this part of the livery editor. Not that I'm not willing to learn, but this is how I do learn. I just steal off of other people. Let's see if they, no. We don't want to save this. We want to just exit out. No. Exit, no. let's go see what other people have for liveries for suits. And I'm sorry for not racing, guys. I mean, I figure we can all use a break from me doing really terribly on the track, right? I might just download one. That's really nice. This marble run's nice. The Coca-Cola one's nice. Alright, well, let's search. Let's see if anyone's made like a Hello Kitty one. Just as for starters. This is for shits and giggles. Look, we already get... Oh, look at that. That's dope. Oh, that's sweet. I mean, we could probably make our own Hello Kitty one if that's going to be that easy. That's pretty sweet, though. Let's see what are older... That one's pretty cool. I like this one. People really love Hello Kitty on this game. I think I said it yesterday where a lot of the most popular content I've made for this game has been Hello Kitty stuff. It's what gets the most likes. People just love Hello Kitty. And I don't blame them. I'm one of those people. I just like and I keep on using the word aesthetic, but it's the truth. I just like the design of Hello Kitty. It's real simple. But it still conveys that whole, oh, someone made a skull and crossbones. But it conveys a happy lifestyle. Like, you know, you can't, oh, I don't know if I like that one. You can't not smile when you see Hello Kitty. There's not much to the Hello Kitty helmets, though. But that makes sense. There wouldn't be, too much. It would be, everything would kind of be cartoony looking and kind of centered around Hello Kitty. It doesn't look like there's much content after a certain period, though. We're now into... Oh, there we go. We got a hit. Yeah, so it's a lot of the same. This one's sponsored by Mercedes, Hello Kitty, KFC, and Coca-Cola. That's one hell of a combination. All right, let's look for something else. Let's see if anyone's done let's see what anime ones are out there. I wonder if someone's done a Macross one, which is what we were trying to shoot for. Because of the two hums between Star Blazers or a Space Battleship Yamato and Macross, I like the Macross. Definitely like the Macross helmets better. Oh, yeah, someone's made a Macross helmet. I mean, it's close. It's close. That one is a little further away, and the idea that you put a Transformers, an Autobot sticker on there, tells me that you're not really that observant, or at least you don't know your canons well enough, because Transformers has nothing to do with Robotech, except for the only crossover between Robotech, and this is the other reason why you would know Macross, is that if you are an old fart like me, you were into Transformers and you liked, the one figure that everyone wanted was Jetfire, which was what is called a Valkyrie fighter in Macross, is actually Jetfire. Sorry. What the Transformers series is, there's a company named Takara in Japan that made a bunch of these transforming. They had, I think, patents on a couple different transforming robots, but they had the license from Macross as well. So they made their jet plane that transformed into a robot. That was specifically for that series. But when it got brought over here, when Takara started playing in the U.S. market, or Hasbro, I think was buying Takara molds and toys, and that ended up being Transformers. Like, I think Optimus Prime, the original one, was originally a Takara robot from some other anime, I think. Jetfire was definitely from Macross, and Hasbro just acquired it as Jetfire. I hope to be an informational source as well, folks. So there doesn't seem to be many. There are not very many good helmets that are thematic, they're based on Macross here. That's a nice one right there. Ooh, I like that one. Let's just add that to the collection. Let's see what it looks like on us. I like that. I really like that one. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I like him. Let's look at his gallery first, and we'll decide whether or not we want to follow him. Ooh, he's got some cool cars. Let's see what his livery collection looks like. Yeah, I can do this for hours. I could not play the game at all and just do this for hours. That's pretty cool. Ooh. Ooh, that's really nice work. Look at that livery. So this is based off of one of the the transforming fighters in Macross. That's really nice. Look how subtle it is. It's not like over the top. It has the markings that they would put on the actual robots. Look at the guy. That's nice. The Beware of Blast on the back there. That's a really nice touch. Let's see what else he's got. Ooh, that one's nice too. Oh, I like this color scheme. This is like one of my favorite Macross color schemes. This is based off of the YF-19, I believe. I'll have to bring up the picture. Let me see if I can find it on the internet, and I'll show you what the inspiration for this car is. Yeah, okay, so the inspiration for this car comes from, give me a second. From this car, or from this plane. Which is really, I wish I could do a side by side. I would have to open another, window, but it kind of see, he's even got the tan and stuff. Let me switch back up. Excuse me. Let me switch back up real quick. Okay, so yeah, you can tell, what type of influence. After seeing that pic, you can tell that it was definitely influenced by that jet fighter. That's a really nice livery though. It's really clean. I love this red accent line and how it's like split up. I think those are vents in the car anyway, so this car is really well suited for like if you're a big fan of like sci-fi and you know there's a particular spaceship that you like. Like he even see this black line back here with the UN Spacey. That's the shape of the leg of the actual jet fighter that he's modeling after. That's really cool. It's really dope. Very, 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 very nice. Beautiful. I'm even gonna put beautiful. Don't be shy, folks. Whenever you go into these things, you gotta tell people. You gotta give people props for doing really good work because it is hard. I mean, that's a fairly easy looking livery, but you know, pulling it off between conceptualization and actually pulling it off this well is it's a task. You know, we've seen the limitations of the livery editor and what it can and can't do, and what you have to kind of coerce it to do. I wonder how he got that black line. Oh, he's even got the jet intake warnings. Wow, he did really. The more I look at this, he did a really, really good job of kind of transferring that look over to this car. This is probably one of the best like adaptations from an anime to a car that I've seen on this platform. Really clean work. Very, very nice. Even did the same with the F1 car. That's really cool. Wow. Okay, and this is modeled after another plane. Excuse me. Wow, man. What great work. That is really imaginative. Is really look at all these little lines on the side. Like he went the whole. Wow, this is really nice looking. It's superb work. Look at that really fine black line he's got around that beige and white part. Kind of, and all those little fine black lines. He probably, I would imagine, this car is probably black underneath, and he's using the decals and making just a tiny bit smaller so that he gets those really fine like black lines, and he's just kind of putting them together to make like different fake panels. If you're a model builder, you know how important like having these panel lines like pop out. How important that is to making a model look real. But this is very convincing. This is a really nice representation here. I would pop back over and show you which plane he modeled this after, but it's wow, this is fun. It's phenomenal work. It's really cool to find like stuff like this. On in the gallery. You know, and that's what I'm trying to say here is that you don't have to roll out with what Gran Turismo gave you. I mean, not that I have any problem with deliveries that this game comes with stock, but I mean, if you have this at your disposal, use it. You know, I build liveries and I'm gonna add to my collection because I just like it. I'm gonna add that other car to my collection, and we're gonna follow this person. I'm gonna add that to the collection. I mean, this is just, you know what? We're even gonna do this. We're gonna repost this. We're gonna go the whole nine and repost because that's just that that just needs to be, people need to see that kind of stuff. I've got a lot of people on that follow me that that are into the same thing, like the whole Macross and Hello Kitty. It's usually the same crowd. Wow, these are really nice. Ooh, oh, I love this one. Yeah, that is the shit right there. Yep, need it, want it, gotta have it. Ooh, I wonder if he's got that 001 in his decal. Let's go look at his decals real quick. Usually, when someone's got a really nice livery, they probably also have really nice decals that they've downloaded or they've made themselves. So let's continue looking down at the rest of his collection. Dumbo Seal. You do some really clean work. It looks like he does like a lot of anime kind of base stuff. Let's look at his decals. Yeah, see, he's got decals. Wonder why he has a Nevada license plate. Animal Crossing. These are nice. These are really nice. I'm going to download these. This is what I was talking about yesterday about getting into the... I could do this all day. Because it's all free. It's all free. And we'll add this, and I'll show you how to add stuff to your because we didn't get to get into this yesterday. How to add this all to your custom folders. All right. I think we might have this one already though. I don't want to get, like I said, I don't want to get too overboard on like downloading. You've got to be really observant of what you're downloading, because sometimes you get like doubles, and since you don't have, you have a limited amount of decals that you can download. You know, it is 1,000, so you have a good number, but I've only been playing this particular game. I know I've said, I've been working with the livery editor for years, is because I played it on Gran Turismo 3, which was the last Gran Turismo I played before this game. So I've only had this game for maybe... I've only been playing for like 2.5 months, maybe? The most? And I've already downloaded like half of the decals that I'm allowed to download, so I'm being really sparing. So those decals now and the liveries are in my library now. So if I go to my library, I go to car livery, and I might not even have the car, but I'll have the livery in it. Actually, it's in collections. Hold on. My library. Oh, maybe it didn't get put in there. Oh yeah, collection. So these are liveries that I have downloaded. I haven't downloaded many of them because honestly, I like rolling with my own stuff. I just you have these as references and copy. Oh, it looks like I do have a rusty beetle. But I need to actually go buy a beetle and put this on there so I can look at it closer to see how they're doing that rust effect, which I imagine all that is the gradient. The gradient, yeah, I mean that's all it has to be. It's probably just random usage of the gradient shapes that are available. That's really nice. So the broken up number that's kind of been weathered and cracked and sunburned, and that STP and the cat stickers, that type of weathering is really nice, and the stripe as well. It's all broken up. Really, really nice work. Even like the oil spots in the paint from where the paint, or the spots where the rust is still under the paint but kind of bubbling underneath those dark spots. That's really nice. Very, very nice usage of those gradient decals. That's what you can do with the gradients. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm sure you all know what a gradient is, but some people don't know what a gradient is. So let's try to buy one of these cars. And this one's really nice. This is that rusty effect where it isn't like rust and it's like rust all over, but it isn't rust. It's more of like a patina, is what we call that. This scrape on the side is really nice. It's a very, very nice touch. And then the idea that they were able to carry that rusty, dirty look over to the rims as well is really nice. Super, super cool. The Faded 7, once again, that's probably a gradient effect. Which, I mean, if you've dealt with like, the Instagram filters, if you've worked on Instagram or done any kind of like Instagram tomfoolery, with the filters, some of those are gradients. I mean, the best way to describe it is like the vignette effect, where when you use a vignette on Instagram, the black is darker on the outside of the picture than it is in the middle of the picture, and it kind of fades its way into the picture. That's what you would call a gradient. Something that starts at one intensity and then peters off to nothing. And that's the same thing that's going on here. There's the bullet holes with the rust coming out of it. It's a really nice touch too. I love the rust around the headlights. It's a really cool effect, and it looks like there's a graphic on the hood as well. Okay, that's I actually have this car sitting on the shelf right next to me. That's the reason why I downloaded this one. I think I might actually have this car now, so I can actually put it on. I can put it on the car to see how accurate it is to the model. This is a really cool livery, because if you see those numbers, I guess this is a watch company, and they have this whole motif with the numbers and like a chronometer thing going on all around the car. Makes it a really, really difficult car to build as a model, because I don't know how much experience any of you guys have with model building, but the stickers is what normal people would call what we call decals. Sorry, I keep on saying it like the British folks do. Mainly because I watch a lot of British channels, like gaming channels, and especially modeling channels. Pretty much everyone is from Europe. Oh, and he's got a Tamiya sticker on the back there too. That's funny. The stickers aren't like something that you can peel off of a sticker sheet. They're what are called water slide decals, where they're on this sheet of paper. I guess it's like a waxy type of paper, and you have to cut them out with an X-Acto knife, usually to a very, 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 very fine degree. Like some of them you can play with, some of them you can't. But the decals are printed on this carrier film that is activated by water. So once you put the thing that you cut out into water, it'll come away from the wax paper that it's printed on, and you have this now have this film with this design on it. So, say the Leon Kvistos is a water slide. Um, you would have to throw it in. It would come out, kind of on a clear film, and then you would somehow have to transfer it from the water onto the body of the car that you're building, which is a lot easier said than done because it's the 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 film is so fragile and it'll stick to itself, and it's really challenging to get it from one point to another. And the smaller the decal, the better, because you can control it easier. Like these ones on the back, the Tamiya, the TWS, and the Endless decal and the Bridgestone, those would be easy to deal with. The big watch hand with the numbers and stuff, that's way harder to deal with because it's going over several surfaces, and the bigger that you make a water slide, the harder it is to control because you just have a lot more real estate to have to deal with, and have to worry about like trying to get air bubbles out of and wrinkles, because as soon as you put it on whatever surface you are trying to get it onto, you have to kind of play with it to get it to sit right. And this car is pretty much one big decal, so it's really hard to manage. And the only way that I was looking at the decal sheet before when I opened it up, and I would probably have to cut them all apart and put them onto the car like layers and do it very, very carefully. And I would have to cut the decals probably to the panel that they're going on. So I would have to cut out the door decal, and it's just a nightmare. But that's why I downloaded this one, because I kind of wanted to see what it kind of looked like on a real object. I was going to use it as a reference when I actually finally built the one that I have. I'm really speaking in tangents today, but we're not racing, so this is what I was talking about, the Marlboro car. You can find there's one like every 5 minutes. Like if you look on the livery store, every time I look on there to see what's new, there's always at least one of these cars on there somewhere. It's a nice livery, but once again, it's really a very, very easy livery to pull off. If you're trying to find something, trying to design something that isn't going to take you a whole bunch of time, this would probably be one of the best bets. This one looks like someone put a fair amount of time into it, but it's not the hardest thing to pull off. This is very doable, and I could probably slam something like this together. And granted, I have all these assets sitting around in my collection, which I don't think I have. I definitely don't have that Philip Morris gold horsey thing on top of the Marlboro. I don't have that, nor do I have the Smoking Cowboy. And it looks like there's probably a Smoking Cowboy on the top too as well. I don't have a Ray-Ban decal either, or the Kenwood one. It's clean though. It's a clean design. I'm not gonna harp on the guy. This one is one that I really want to do at some point, but so many people have done this livery as well. This is another one that I see a lot of. There's the Rothman one, or the Rothmans Porsche. And since I'm a Porsche driver, I consider doing the RSR like this, but this has kind of been done over and over and over again, and there are lots of really, really good examples, so there's no reason for me to make another really good example of this. Unless I wanted to make, like I said, something that is derivative of this, but not quite exactly this. But honestly, it's really hard, especially with designs that are really uh, just historically known, like the Marlboro one. This is you can make a lot of cars that look like it, but everyone knows that knows that shape. I did a Macross car. Actually, the car that's on this thumbnail, my Ferrari, I did. Uh, but and I'm going to show you how that chevron thing with the Marlboro car it's kind of ubiquitous. You see it. You see it in a lot of cars. So I made this 458 into my Macross car. But see that chevron on the side where the skull is? That's kind of like the Marlboro thing, and honestly, scheme wise, this is very much like there are a couple other Marlboro designs out there, but this is kind of like one of them I've seen. There's a more stripy version where the chevron isn't completely red, and this car took a little bit to put together, but not as long as it would seem. I think I maybe slammed this guy together in probably like 2 hours or something like that. Um, this red and black motif on the hood is the chest plate, or the breastplate for the robot when it transforms. The triangle chevron thing is I kind of just made that up. It just looked anime, so I put it in there. Once again, you see this heavy black line that borders all of my sports stripes. The only time I don't do that is I've only done it on one car where I don't do a black line separating the colors from each other, and that is the Hello Kitty, or not the Hello Kitty car, the Kaboom Studios or Kaboom Motorsport car where the sorry, give me a second. I'm just changing seats. So like this car, I am in my over imaginative or over active imagination. I want to be sponsored by. I make music. This is another non sequitur. I make music. I make electronic music like everyone else out there. But I've been making music for my whole life. And two companies that are dear to my heart are Ableton, which is the company that I use to like the theme song I put for the show. I made in Ableton. And Roland is a very, very legendary company that has made some of the most iconic synthesizer sounds out there. And you guys, if you listen to any modern music, you've heard a Roland product. The one product that is probably the most enigmatic and popular Roland piece of gear that everyone's heard and no one's heard of is the Roland 808. And I know they say 808 in a bunch of rap videos now, or rap songs these days. What they use in rap songs is not an 808. It's like an 808 emulated 808 sound that they manipulate in tonally, which the original 808 you could manipulate tonally, but not as much as they're doing nowadays, where they're actually basing songs off of like the harmonies off of the 808 patterns they make. But the 808 sound is that boom, like that boom, the bass boom. That's the 808 sound, and it was made popular by the Beastie Boys and Run DMC and a whole myriad of other rappers back from like the 80s. There's actually a really amazing documentary called 808 that if you're a fan of like electronic music, you should check it out, or the 808. The 808 this thing, right? Hopefully you heard me during that. Now you're hearing me doing this. So this is the 808. This is the Roland 808. And you can see the color scheme I'm using. Um, this red, orange to yellow to white, kind of creamish color, and this orange Roland are are what like everyone that is in music kind of associates with the word Roland in 808. It's the brand. It's been branded like this, and there've been plenty of copycats, but everyone knows what a Roland 808 looks like and what the orange, red, orange, yellow, and white scheme means. It means it's an 808. But I tried to do that. Give me a second. Here, where I've got the same thing going. I've got this blackish color, but then the beige, yellow, orange, and red to white. That was kind of the color scheme, and that was the first time that I'd never used, or I didn't use a black line to divide all those colors up. Let's look at her in the livery editor. I do kind of want to. I need to clean this one up a little bit. It's a little much. I think the back bumper is too busy. Like, I don't think I want all those decals back there, so we're gonna take some of those guys off. I don't think I need all of these YouTube and Twitch. I'm kind of more in the vein. I mean, if anyone's gonna search for me, I don't want them to have to go through the YouTube. I was just putting these back here just to kind of signify that I'm on YouTube and that you could find me on YouTube. And I do have a Twitch account. I just haven't used it in a while. I wasn't getting many views on there, and a lot of the big YouTubers were like, you really can't get big on Twitch until you're big on YouTube. But honestly, I've been really happy with YouTube. I mean, I've had my problems with YouTube and trying to get my stream, but I think that was kind of more of a my side problem than it was a YouTube problem. But as far as like finding an audience and finding a home to do this broadcast, I'm really happy with what I've been able to, the type of service I've been able to get out of YouTube. So we'll just do it like that. I think that's a lot cleaner. Yeah, I like that a lot better. And then we could just make this a little bigger. And then I do want to get rid of that white that's behind that logo. Where is that? So we delete that one. That's much cleaner. That one doesn't even look like it's the right size. Well, I'm glad we're doing this because I didn't even notice that I had all these mess ups. I just wish they had like some way I could measure everything. Is the one gripe I have with this whole system is that you can't really measure anything out. And it looks like I'm gonna line it with that 808 sticker down up there. So I mean that looks better. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean that's cleaner. We might be able to do without the Porsche RSR. I kind of like having that back there, but maybe we'll get rid of it. Let's see what it looks like without it. If you want to ever to, like, if you're doing something like this where you're doing, like, kind of fine edits, you don't have to necessarily erase. I'm just trying to figure out which is which. Okay. And this is what I was talking about yesterday about hierarchy and understanding your layer hierarchy. I have 191 layers right now going on, so very close to going over my layer count. Trying to figure out where all of these layers are, since I've got so many of these red, orange, and yellow things going on. Those are all individual layers, as you see over here on the right hand side. And this is kind of telling me where it is, but I mean, I have to kind of follow this stupid crosshair all over the car to figure out where I am. There's no way of saying, okay, I want to look at this. You know, I can't move the cursor to where I want it to go in order to, you know, edit a particular decal. So I kind of have to go through the hierarchy and figure out where exactly that decal is. I'm trying to find this Porsche RSR one, which is right here. But you see how far down it's decal number 102 and 101, and you kind of have to unpack. Oh, what's up, Jared? How you doing, man? Happy Halloween, bro. I figured you would be out doing trick or treat right now. I'm just doing livery edits right now. Did you race your car? And if so, how many points did you lose? If I can hide this layer. Hide layer. Let's just hide it and see what happens. See, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. How was racing last night? How many points did you lose? You know what I could do? I could use the Porsche RSR. Maybe I could move. Let's do some advanced shit here. We're gonna try some advanced shit. That's right, advanced shit. Maybe if we made the Porsche there, and then we just flip it on the other side, and we just find a way to hide that RSR. You know, I don't blame you, dude, because the daily race world is a rough life, man. All the thugs in daily racing. I honestly, I don't think I'm gonna go back to daily racing. I don't. The 700 points. Wow. Wow, dude. Wow. See, and this is what especially if I want to compete in FIA, it doesn't make any sense to do the daily races, because I can honestly, I'll make my driver rating, it'll make getting driver rating points a lot harder, and I don't have as many opportunities to make up those points. But I mean, every time I go into dailies, dude, I end up losing points. So there's no reason for me to do it, you know? Even like Benezi and all the dudes that are like super racers, you know, they say don't do the daily races, which, you know, if they're as high up as they are, you know, I'm kind of inclined to like listen to them. You know, I just don't see it. Like, it's just, I don't know. I wish dailies were a lot more regulated, and I wish, you know, not as many a-holes would race in, you know, those races. But those are all the races for the casual racers, you know. That's probably why you get dinged more there. Those are the people that are like, you know, they're I'm not gonna knock them, man. They're playing the video game, but they probably only do daily races. They probably don't do FIA. You know, we're the only freaks that are willing to put up the time and effort that it takes to be a good FIA racer. You know, maybe we'll just do without the Porsche back there. Yeah, we'll do without the Porsche. Everyone knows this. We also got Porsche RSR right there, so I think we're overdoing the Porsche thing. We got Porsche all over this car. You want to make a car? We can make your Group 4 car today if you want, or your Group 3 car. We can work on that today, so you'll be totally ready for next season with your own car. I've been into the livery thing today, so you know, I'm just scared of the daily races. I don't want to do it, and I just did another couple practice laps because I don't know if you noticed, the channel is now in full HD. We're now 1080p and 60 frames. I finally got everything working so that we are now getting the best possible stream that we could possibly get. And I wanted to test, because I'll watch this later on. I wanted to test to see how much better the racing looked. I was just noticing that all the other YouTubers out there had way nicer like race footage than I did. So, yeah, I spent the last like 2 or 3 days messing with the OBS, the studio program that I use to broadcast. I've been messing with it for like 2 or 3 days, trying to get the best possible quality out of it. Oh, you're not at your rig? That's fine. I mean, we could always design your car if you want to, or we can, if you're not going to be around for the whole stream. I just want something to work on. I was just pulling out my old cars and just doing revisions on some of the designs. But I really would kind of like to throw something else together. Yesterday was fun. So if you want another livery for your Group 4 or Group 3 car, we can do that. And it seems like a lot of people like I was noticing that like a lot of people were watching the livery videos, or were watching yesterday. So, this is something I don't think any other GT YouTuber does this. Most all of them do racing, and I'm not trying to knock them, because they're good racers, but I'm not that good, so I'm much better at doing this than I am racing. It's the funny thing is that the people that you download, if you're going to download a custom livery, whenever you look at their let's look at a couple of these guys. Whenever you look at their profile, usually they're awful drivers because they spend all their time, making liveries and making decals. Like, let's see this. Let's find someone's livery in here. I bet you, let's look at the one that we just downloaded. Crap. How was Halloween, dude? Was it good? Did you guys already have it's what? 6 o'clock your time right now? What was it? My library. And collection. Oh, wait, what did I... Oh, because we're in Scapes Photos. Car livery. Collection. Let's see how good of a driver this guy is. He's probably had the game for a while. Yeah. eDriver, B sportsmanship rating. He's got 79,978,881 prize credits. He's got 16... He bought 69 cars. He's got 77... So he's done... He's been playing this game for a while, but he's still an eDriver with a B sportsmanship rating. That tells you that the guys that do liveries and the decals really aren't in it for the racing. They're in it for this part. I really want to do this rusty car look, man. Let's look at this and see how this guy pulled this off, because that's super impressive. Like, having all the the rustiness. It's pretty dope. I hope to one day do like a rusted out car. It'd be a shame because I'd never get to race it. Maybe hopefully, that's the one thing I am looking forward to in Gran Turismo 7 is kind of the return of like being able to race. I'm just hoping that you can't like enter like super high powered like Beetles in the race that would be Group 3 or Group 4. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. That's the one fear I have with GT7 is that they're going to somehow, some way. Oh, it's only $40,000 per buy it. Somehow, some way they'll start grouping people's 5,000 horsepower Skylines with Group 1 cars and stuff, which is super unrealistic. You would never see that in like a real race. Like, hey, I just hooked up my 240Z, man. I'm gonna race a dang LMP1 car. That doesn't happen. It never happens. I almost blame Gran Turismo for the whole mod community. I'm gonna loan my car and put like 4,000 horsepower through it, and I'll be able to beat anything, Ferrari, whatever. I don't care. No, that doesn't happen. I mean, it happens every now and then, but like we were saying yesterday, like when me and Jared were saying yesterday, manufacturers make cars for the way that they do for a reason. And albeit, the stock cars that they race in America aren't stock. But when you go to like somewhere in Europe where they're running GT3 or GT4 cars, or even like the lower race cars that still look like the cars that you would see on the road, those cars are still completely different than what you actually buy as a consumer. Those cars aren't even painted. That's the funny thing about the whole livery thing, is that most of these cars are just white, if they even have paint on them. They get to that point where the paint weighs, it has a weight value. So why paint your car when you can put it in a livery, which is wrap it in a livery, which is way lighter. We're gonna do this. We need to get into the livery that we want, and then we're gonna go look at it. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, it's my garage. Oh, car settings. Car livery. My collection. There we go. Let's look at how this guy did this. Because I could probably pull this off. I've never done. This is the first time I've ever seen, and that's what I was saying to yesterday about it being more powerful than the other venerations of this function. Is that in previous versions of this thing, you couldn't really do a very, very convincing rust spot. I know people tried, but oh man, can I not? Okay, we can look at it like this. Oh, but it takes the livery off. What? So I can't look at it and oh man. No. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I wanted to take that thing apart and take a look at it. At least be able to look at it and analyze it. Can I open the design? No. Oh, okay. I get it now. This is what I was saying about when you export your livery to share, it gets flattened down onto your car so that you can't go into a livery that you've downloaded, like I'm trying to do right now, and go and look at it in the livery editor, because it's not something you can customize. That's going to be the one thing that people are going to have to deal with when, but people aren't looking to, usually people that are downloading liveries are doing it because they don't want to either design it themselves, or, they're fine with the design that they're getting from the livery store. So there should be no reason you would want to pull it into the livery editor to mess with. And that's for anyone that's designing a livery. That's why you want to make sure the livery that you're sending out is as clean as possible, because you don't want people to like drive around with cars with errors on them. That's like the worst. That means you're a sloppy livery designer. No one likes a sloppy livery designer. That sucks, as I really wanted to try to I really wanted to try to mimic this rust look. Is there any way I can look at it? Oh, you know what I could do? I could put it on the racetrack and then just save. We'll just do this. We'll do a time trial. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to be bright. Okay, I'm already starting to see. Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. So it isn't as rusty. Okay, I get what's going on. I just need to be able to see the effect close up to see what's going on. But basically, they just layered stuff on top of each other to make it look like rust. That's... I don't like the wheels that you put in this car. Alright, so can I now exit? Can I save? Or do I have to actually do... oh no, I can just save the replay right here. Let's do save replay. This will all make sense in a second. So let's go back to the library. And then we're going to watch the replay, but then we're just going to pause it. Just so I can take a look at the car. I'm going to change the wheels on this car too. I don't like the wheels that you put on there. It's like the stock wheels. Especially with like the Herbie the Love Bug thing. I mean, Herbie never had great wheels. He just had the stock moon eyes wheels. Which, in my opinion, are really nice wheels. I like the Moon Eyes look. The classic Moon Eyes kind of type wheel hubcap thing. So let's just go race photos. And do the walk around mode. Aha. I beat you, Gran Turismo. Yeah, so what looks like is happening is he's just putting layers on top of other layers to make it look like it's rusty like that. And I would imagine just... It really is impressive though, like the pattern. Like he's... You know, there's a random pattern to rust. I mean, cars will rust the same in some spots, like here. This is a popular spot for VWs to rust. You know, back here, another spot would be like this little area above the license plate. And even where he's got it at the grill, that's a pretty common spot for where you would see rust on something like a VW Bug. This is all like model building typey kind of stuff where when I do build models, I have to look at a lot of reference pictures, and I swear to God, I've got a Pinterest folder that's like 3,000 pictures of rust. Because rust has different patterns. It reacts differently in different ways and on different cars, and when you're trying to make something that looks like this out of a piece of plastic, you know, the more reference pictures you have, the better. This is a really good job, though. I like the discoloration, you know, where it's either, you know, rust bubbling from underneath or maybe oil. That was a really nice touch because you do see that a lot on cars. And then he must have painted it. I don't know how he got the matte color all around. Maybe that's one decal that's just matte. But as far as I know, I don't think you can paint your car a matte color in Gran Turismo. So I'm thinking that might just be one, like a bunch of big, huge layers that are painted white matte. I've never done that before. You know, I usually make shiny cars. I don't really deal with patinaed out cars. I wish I had enough money to... do I have enough money to buy that Porsche yet? because people have made some really cool liveries for this Porsche. What's it called? Oh my god, brain farting on car model. The Roadster. We'll be there faster than I can remember the name of the car. This car. Do I have enough money for that yet? I know I was saving up for one of the classic cars, which I don't think you typically get. Oh, I could buy this. It's only $1 million. Yeah, the 356. There's some really cool liveries for this car. Fuck it, we'll buy it. I'm a driver for Porsche, and you should give me this car, guys. I know I didn't finish high enough to really qualify to have a present, but I could have taken one of these. It would have been a nice gesture. Make me buy my own Porsche 356. I've been busting my ass all season for you guys, and you can't give me that car? Come on. Now I've got in my library, I've got one cool livery that I want to check out on this car and see. It also is a very good representation of a car that has patina. Livery. Complexion. Let's put it on our car. That one, we'll try that one. Shit. To go into the home. Car livery. And then collection. And we'll put that one on first. I want to see the other one just to see what's on the hood. But I want to see what the effect, because I really like how subtle the effect of the patina on this particular livery has been done. We will do the same thing. Let's do a Toyota this time. Ooh, okay. Noon, I guess. No, afternoon. We're gonna do the 356. It doesn't matter. Intermediate, I guess. I already kind of see what's going on with this, though. It's just really nicely, like, executed. Look how much better the rust looks on this one. It looks a lot more convincing. Granted, once you get close up, it's kind of like a full-on Monet. Once you close up, it gets a little... You can see the smoke in the mirrors. The little tricks that he's playing there. But that's what you do when you're working with the Gran Turismo livery editor. You need to trick it. I wonder what this looks like in VR. Ooh, let's try the 356 out. Let's see how squirrely the 356 is. Ooh, this car's really slow. Oh. By the way, the AI in this game is really terrible. I hope that gets fixed in the next veneration of this game. Alright, resettings. Let's save the replay and then take a look at this car. I need to upgrade this car, so. Oh, and this is another thing. I don't know if any of you guys, when you the other thing that the mileage points are good for, and I know this is a noob thing. I don't know if anyone pays attention to it. At least anyone that's played this game for a couple of months. I know I missed it for like the first 2 months or something like that, or first month. Nah, it wasn't that long. It was maybe a couple days, maybe like a week or two. I had noticed my car wasn't handling. Um, it wasn't as fast as anything else that I was racing against, and it wasn't handling the way that it was supposed to. Until I noticed this, and everyone should kind of take note if you're new to the game. When you go to car settings, you got these little circles. I don't know if anyone pays attention to these things. I didn't for the first maybe week and a half. I was like, why is this car always? Then as I was going up in levels, I was like, why isn't my car leveling up? Well, it's because you have to buy with your mileage points, your tons of mileage points. This is how you upgrade your car in this game. And that from 1 to 3 actually makes a huge difference. So whenever you buy a car, you're issued a car, make sure you look at this power level, weight reduction level. In QuickTune, that I don't know if it affects it once you go to this. It looks like it locks it out, but I mean, I still kind of noticed the difference if these weren't set to their max level, which is 3. I mean, and the way that you pay for it, or the way you do it, is through your mileage points. See, I just spent like 2,000 mileage points. But I mean, come on, I've got 97,000 mileage points. So I could literally buy like 4 or 5 different cars and still not put a dent in that number. Once again, it's another hidden thing that it's hidden in plain sight. But I don't think many people look at that. I know my roommate, one of my roommates just bought this game and didn't realize that it was there. And he was like, why is my car so much slower? I remember the first day that we raced together, he was like, why is my car so much slower? And I was like, well, did you go into your settings and buy all the mileage points for your weight reduction and your whatever the other thing is? And he was like, no. And then he bought the things and he was all right afterwards. So if you notice your car is lagging, maybe that's the problem. I always look at that just to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be, the full level up, whatever. With as many mileage points as I have to spend, I always look for the opportunity to use them. I hate the idea that I've hit the limit on those things. Okay, so let's take a look at this livery. Yeah, so he's probably doing the same kind of thing. This looks like he's definitely using one of the gradient shapes to get this increasing amount of rust down like the center line of the vehicle. It's very believable. You know, you would think that because this car is, traveling in air like this way, that it would kind of rust out like that, where, the clear coat and the paint would rust out or wear down this pattern here. Let's take a look at how. This is what I was talking about. Once you get really close up, the smoke and the mirrors kind of show themselves. You can see the little tricks that he used. You can even tell, like, look, the layer that's giving him the matte look, he didn't go fully down to the bottom there. I think he kind of, it's either that or this is one of those limitations in the livery editor that you have in GT Sport, where it won't let you go past a certain point. It looks like the car was probably this blue, but then he put like a filter gradient or something over it to dull it out like this. Even has a little front license plate. It's really cool, but it's breaking up. It also probably looks. It looks different in the way that Gran Turismo does the photo thing. I don't know if you guys even play with Escapes, the photos thing, but it treats cars that in pictures of your car that you take in the race, it treats differently than if you were doing Escapes. You almost get a lower res version of your car in the race photos than you do if you were to do it in the dedicated Escapes function, the landscape function where you place your car into, an environment and take a picture of it. I don't know if any of you guys have messed with that. I use it all the time. So, like, for example, if we wanted to take a picture of this car and during this race, we would just go to press X and go shoot. And this is how you can get cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I don't know. I just have to did I not turn up how do you turn up the power or lower the weight? I mean, I really don't mess with it because I usually race in races that are balance of power. So I think that still gets balanced out. I just have to make sure that that's a bot, I think, first to I don't know. I don't quite get the whole am I supposed to do something else to the car? Maybe that's why my car is underperforming. Maybe that's why my car is so slow, is because I haven't turned up the power or lowered their weight. But let me see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can set this so that the car is in motion. It's already in panning mode. I think it automatically goes into panning mode when you shoot it from race footage. Let's say we'll do it like a little bit more exposure, so it's a little brighter. Oh, there's a drop-down menu below the okay, we'll get into that. Hold on, give me a second. And then when you take a picture, dude, I wonder if that's why my car is so much slower. See, you get this nice motion, but notice how like the car doesn't look as good as it was when we were looking at it in the gallery. It's because this is kind of like a lower res image, and it's weird. You can tell because like all of like the OFP 857's real fuzzy looking. The rust is kind of fuzzy looking, but I mean it kind of works with the theme of the image. All right, let me go look at this thing Jared's talking about. Shit, wrong mode. Get the F out of here. Yeah, I don't think it matters either if the BOP's on, because that's what that's all limited in the FIA races, so that we're all running kind of the same car. What was I looking at? Oh, let's get into one of my real cars. We'll get into Kitty. Yeah, I don't think it really does matter unless when I'm racing the FIA races. So there's a drop. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't really because I think once you go into BOP, it locks you out of that. I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we can get into. This is about the time for one of these races. So yeah, I think BOP locks it out. I'm pretty sure it does. I mean, I really don't mess with it because I always race in, a BOP lobby or race. So I never really messed with it. I mean, to make sure that everything is bought, because I did notice that there was a difference between whether or not you had them all purchased and not having them all purchased in racing a BOP race. There was a pretty significant difference. Yeah, see, in the BOP, it's locked out, but you're still now over. This is 105 and 106. I wonder if it does it. Let's look at this too, because I've got a bunch of cars that I haven't done that to. I wonder if we do the same thing with a car. Oh wait, what are we doing? Nope. Damn it, wrong button. I don't think it matters for this car because it's already been tuned up, but let's look at a car that isn't tuned up and bring it into this race. I think I have another Group 3 sitting around somewhere. Oh shit, that manufacturer category. Oh, I've got an Attenza Group 3. When did I get that? Huh. Must have been something I won. Isn't that rotary? I don't know. Attenza probably isn't a rotary motor. I wouldn't imagine it is. So this car I definitely haven't touched. So let's check out what happens when I put it into the race. If the BOP bumps it up to whatever the BOP for the race is. I mean, I would imagine that it would do that. It would at least make you even with everyone. But it felt like there was a definite difference between before and after buying all the level up things. Okay, so I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. Let's see if we... I don't think it's going to change it too much. If we level it up. Nope, it stays at 107. And it stays at 106. Maybe it's just a psychological thing for me. I swear when I drove it with my car without these on or leveled up, it felt different. But it could be just, you know, a seat of the pants kind of thing. Where, you know, there's no real metric for it. You just kind of feel it psychologically. Well, that's good to know. When are we going to actually get to use any of this stuff? I guess in lobbies you could have lobbies set up so that you can have tuning. But you're never going to be able to use it in an FIA race, I don't think. I really wish I could do... The only thing that I really wish I could change is the gear ratio. That's one of the Porsche's real weaknesses. Is I don't think it's geared out right. It's too short in the low gears and it's too long in the top gears. I mean, I can see where the power band that they're trying to exploit there, which is, you know, from generally with most German cars are real low revving, high torque engines. So, you know, they want you to use a torque between like 1,000 and 6,000 RPMs. That's, you know, typical of most German cars. But I think it winds out too fast in second and third are really iffy. I mean, a lot of the driving I do in third, just because it's a good even means between second and fourth and fifth. When I don't want to have the longer gears or have the shortness of the second gear. I mean, I guess typically in most cars, second is the tallest gear, right? At least in the cars that I've driven, second's usually been the tallest gear, and third's kind of near as tall, but not quite as tall. But in the Porsche, the second gear is so quick. Like you're out of second gear so quickly. I'd like to see how much torque my second gear is putting out too. But what were we doing? I don't know. We have no point in life anymore because we don't have any races to run. I feel like a lost puppy that just doesn't know where to go right now. Man, we can mess with the livery. Let's look at the Atenza livery. Maybe we'll redesign an Atenza. We'll give it to Jared there. New design, Atenza. It's actually a really nice livery. For a stock livery, it's really cool. Super clean, really simple. I could do better. I do like how big that Mazda symbol are. But they don't offer that. I don't think it's. I don't think that's a decal that they even have in. Do they have a Mazda decal? We looked yesterday. I don't think they did. No. Oh, they have this one, but they don't have just the Mazda. That's so weird. It's so weird what decals they do give you access to, because I know the Porsche one that came stock with the Porsche was really cool too, but they don't have the decals on that design. They don't even let you use for your own design. So it's like, well, what's the point? This is a nice looking car. This is the Mazda 6, right? I mean, it looks like the 6. It's funny because like this game, the car is based, like you can see the car underneath of it. You know, the main car chassis underneath of it. But this is what I was saying about cars that look like they're counterparts on the road, but are vastly different. You know, the chassis is completely redone. It's stiffened. It's been reinforced by all that tubing, you know, for the roll cage, and you can see the reinforcement bars going through there. Even the little escape hatch at the top there for. I don't know if that's an escape hatch or one of those flaps that comes out when the car goes spinning. I would imagine this LED back here is for. I don't know what that's for. I wonder where the filling caps were. Where the filling? How the hell does anyone put gas in? Okay, get right there. I guess all the GT3 cars have a filling cap right there. My Porsche doesn't have the filling cap you have. Take it easy, Jared. Be careful, man. Have a good Halloween, bro. I'll talk to you later. What are the possibilities? What can we do with this? What I really like about this car is it's got 4 doors, so it gives me a lot of real estate to mess with on the side here. So we can what can we do to this car to make it look super cool? Well, the first thing we do is paint it white. So let's paint it white. Maybe we can do it. We haven't done a gray car yet. Oh, well, my car is kind of gray. Definitely have a blue car. Yellow car. Let's just start with white. White's always a good starting point. What can we do with this car to make it look super dope? Maybe this will be our project for the next couple days since we're kind of in the livery mode right now. We'll start it now. We're 2 hours into the stream, so we'll get 2 hours into this. If I can, I might even be able to finish it in 2 hours. Maybe? I don't know. I want to make it something really cool, so maybe we'll take more time. Maybe we'll do a more involved design. I know I have. Did I leave it on? I don't think I left that video on here. I had a video on here that was like a 4-hour video, 2 4-hour videos of me doing like a straight up design by myself without any kind of influence. And I think I took it off of here. But I mean, now that I've got the microphone, I can talk to you guys, and it'll be a little bit more interesting if we can chat, and if you're watching this afterwards, you can you'll have someone talking instead of watching a car spinning in a white space with stuff happening to it. Tell you what, before we start that, I'm gonna get 1 cup of water, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Stay hydrated, folks, wherever you are. If you are out on the streets gathering candy right now, I hope you have a bottle of water. Dehydration is the enemy. Let me adjust this. So let's do some discovery stuff. Let's look at what this car looks like in real life. Not that Skyactiv livery isn't what they use, but I'm sure there are a bunch of other. Bet you there are a bunch of other teams that we don't get to see. Okay. Let me get OBS to switch over to desktop. Okay. Ooh, Inception. All right, mind you, I can't see the stream right now, so if you guys are talking to me, I can't see it. So the Atenza looks like what they've given you in Gran Turismo. Oh, that is the Gran Turismo Atenza. That as well as the Gran Turismo Atenza. This looks like a real life Atenza, which is really cool. I don't think we have that chromey look. Here's another one. That's a non. That's like a real team Atenza. This is what I'm talking about. Oh wait, that is a Gran Turismo car. How many of these are Gran Turismo cars? That's the problem when you look up liveries nowadays, is that you'll get mixed up with a bunch of like Gran Turismo cars. This isn't the first time this has happened. When I've been building models, I've been looking for like liveries for cars, and half of them nowadays are Gran Turismo cars. Like this one, this Martini car. That's super cool. Maybe we should do a Martini car. I've been meaning to do like a Martini type car. That's super nice. It's really. Oh, you know what I have? I've got camel decals. And I've been wanting to do a camel car for a while. So maybe we'll do that. Let's look. Camel racing. And we're going to run into a bunch of cars that were made in Gran Turismo in here as well. I would like to look at. I'm going to tell you a little thing about me, guys. And not that I haven't told you a bunch of little things. I'm a smoker, and I know it's bad. I know it's terrible. It's a horrible, horrible affliction that I've had since I was a kid. I know it's terrible, but it's really hard to quit. But I do smoke Camels. I hate them and I love them. I probably hate them more than I love them, which probably should, mean I should quit. I mean, there's no I should about it. As I need to quit. And I've tried. It's just really, really hard. It has helped with my sultry voice on the microphone. It's what a lot of singers will do to get a better voice, is to smoke. But I don't recommend it to anyone. It's probably one of the worst things I've ever gotten mixed up in, and I really regret the day that I became a smoker. I mean, I like this. The camel liveries, though, are real kind of flat looking, huh? I mean, that's kind of cool, but that's a GT Sport livery. This one? That's a GT Sport livery. I do like how they incorporated the BMW tricolor. It's a really nice touch. It brings a little life to it. We could maybe try to do something that's kind of in between a Martini livery and a camel livery. Let me see what camel. I'm just the gears are going in the head right now about how I'm going to pull this off, because if I can do this, then it'll be the stream for the next 2 days. I've been trying to kind of shop around for subjects we can do that are, not racing. Mainly because I'm scared of daily races. Okay. Give me a second. Let me just shut this off. Okay. So you don't have a double of me. Okay. So lots of elements to paint on this car. Let's just start right now with the color palette. One of the camel colors is like an orangish yellow. I know they use like a harsh yellow, but I'm kind of basing it off of a pack of camel filters. I really do hate the idea that I smoke. I wish I didn't. Now that I've got an awesomely cute niece and nephew, I want to live to see them grow older. And I can't do that as a smoker. It's kind of camel tan. What I'm trying to achieve here is this. Give me a second. I gotta find. Okay. All right. Now that I've got here, I'll show you what I'm trying. The color I'm trying to get to is. Let me switch over to yes again. The color I'm trying to achieve is this yellow here. It's like a tannish yellow, and I want to get that color as well. This yellow here. My idea is that maybe I'll do the camel, and I've got this whole scene here. At least I think I do. I kind of like this. I kind of like this. This could be almost a sports stripe, right? If we can get the camel in the circle like this, and the camel above it, maybe on the hood, we can run this sports stripe as a sports stripe all the way down the car. And then there's these little flares in the newer packs that they look like this now. Maybe we should just match this and do this maroon. We're going to still need the yellow, but I think I have a decal that is just this. And I know I've got this. But we'd have to kind of match this red here. And then this, once again, look at a little chevron thing, but it's more of like a half circle ribbon thingamajigger. Let's look at what decals I've got sitting in my my collection. And maybe to that degree, maybe we can keep the car white. But I would like it to be like a yellow-ish. I mean, if I can get close to that color, give me a second. I'm gonna not be looking at the stream. Just so I can try to approximate this color here. It's gonna be a tough one. It's like a tan-ish yellow. Dang it, I think it's like... I mean, that's way too yellow. Maybe if we hang out here on the edges, the color picker, we might just by chance... There's like a brown in there too. I wish this was a little bit more... Maybe we'll just put this in this area here. Oh, okay, there we go. That's more of where we want to go. So there's a little bit more orange and brown in that tan. That's really close. It's... I mean, how if we go into the depths here, we're looking at brown, brown, brown-ish, getting closer. I mean, that's relatively close. So what you don't see a lot of are camel cars. With everyone with their Marlboro cars. You don't see many camel cars out there. We are going to change that. I think that's close enough to the tan, to that yellow. I mean, I don't know how much else, how much closer I can get to it. I mean, it's just probably a couple tones lighter, maybe. I mean, it's close enough, I think. Maybe a little bit yellow, more yellow. This is probably the longest point of, or part of doing this, is when you're starting to color match. Normally, I would just take whatever paint I'm using and just splash it on the monitor. I'll put like a little piece of cellophane or whatever over the monitor and just splash it on top. It's really hard to judge colors through a monitor too, because you're also seeing it. You're not seeing light hitting it. You're seeing light being projected, which is different from when light actually hits a color on a surface. Because, I don't know if you understand how colors and our eyes work, but when a painted surface is put under light, it absorbs now I'm going to get into color, but I'm like also between trying to look at whether or not this is it's close enough or not. I mean, if we go yellow, but yeah, the color that you see is the color that the part of the spectrum that the color is reflecting back out. So that's different from like a computer monitor, which is programmed to use RGB to emulate, to kind of mimic a color. I don't know if that makes any sense. It does in my twisted mind, kind of. I mean, that's close. That's close. I really would have to. I don't know. I'll show you what I'm trying to match it to. Trying to match it to this like this yellowish. That's a brush, and even like I'm trying to look at like this here, because I like this idea with the maroon and the tannish yellow. There's just not very good. There's not a very good representation of that color. This is too faded. I can't really. I mean, that's close. It's close-ish to what I'm going for here. I mean, that's really kind of the color I want. I don't think I can get there, though. Not this way. It's just really hard to judge, like I said, between two computer monitors, which one's right and which is wrong. Not to mention that my monitor that my ultra wide isn't like, and I never color balanced it, so I don't know. I don't know if the color representation that is being presented to me on the ultra wide is the actual color. I just have to guess. I mean, it does a pretty amazing job at displaying images. It just never did, I don't do any photo work really. I mean, now that I've started doing some more video work, I probably should start paying attention to the color space that my monitor displays, but it's YouTube, people. I mean, we're not like projecting to millions of like an audience on a huge projector screen in a movie theater. So, I mean, this is kind of close. Let me switch back over to OBS over to PlayStation. So, I mean, this is kind of close. It's not exactly, but it's probably enough to fake it. We have that color saved, so once again, we will be pulling, especially since we're using custom colors, we'll be pulling only from the color history in our paint palette. You always want to make sure especially if you're working with colors that are custom colors, you want to make for damn sure that you are pulling from that palette, because it will wreak almighty havoc on your design if if you start using, colors from different spots on the color palette switcher thingamajigger, you're just going to have a non-stop wrestling party with the color palette thing, which would not be fun. I've done it before. It's not very fun. When your quarter panel isn't the same color as the other parts of the car. So we could probably fake this. Let's see if we can. Let's do this. Let's put the camel. Ooh, this is going to be a challenge. Big hood scoop. It's going to be a challenge. And the camel would kind of be centered, right? It didn't seem like that. The decal came in on center. But then again, this is another thing that I'm glad happened. When you get decals from the livery store, they don't have the same constraints as the ones that are obviously programmed straight from the game. So like this, like I said yesterday, decals will come in on center. These sometimes don't come in on center because the center point, you can't really program the center point. I mean, the center point looks like for this decal's right there, but it doesn't, when I'm looking at the hood and the spaces on the side, it doesn't look like it's on center. Like it popped it up like a little over to the right. So you've got to be careful with the custom decals in that sense. Because, you want to make sure that everything is lining up to whatever gauge you're using to kind of measure where the center is and where the scene is and stuff. I mean, we could put this here, then we would have to move this guy down underneath the other layer so that those trees are there, and then we're gonna have to move the camel up. I think they'll match. Yeah. Right? That looks pretty damn close. Whether or not that's in the middle is a whole different story. And that's what makes this challenging, is that, and what I was saying about not having any kind of ruler system, is that you kind of have to guess where everything is. I mean, that looks kind of in the middle, but I don't know if that works. I mean, technically, I would kind of want the camel, this whole motif, to be, okay, it's about that size. I would want this whole motif to be, because now I can't fit the word camel above it, which is kind of the brand, right? It's kind of, that's kind of what is the brand of camel, is like, you've got the camel in the scene and then camel above that. Not that any non-smoker would know that, but I mean, anyone that does smoke, or at least is pretty, maybe someone who smokes camels. It's a pretty familiar. It's a pretty familiar logo that most people have seen. Oh, we got the straight camel. I mean, we could do an inverse. I mean, we could do something like that, which would be kind of cool. The shadow still shows up underneath of it, so that's cool. I mean, but to that degree, that, something like this would probably be what someone does. But I mean, the camel, like I said, the camel brand is, you usually have the camel. This is actually the other one that we had would be above it. This one. This camel sticker. This one would be the one that you would use above this. problem is that it's too, it goes right over the camel's head. And if we were to pull the camel down, then we would lose that sweet shadow that we've got right there. And then this just kind of looks awkward. I mean, it looks fine here if we did that, like something like that. It would look fine, but, in that sense, why would you, as a designer, have camel? I mean, I guess it looks all right. I mean, but something like that shape, just that shape, how they're all formed, it kind of looks better up here. Right? How big can we get the camel? Well, we could do something like that and then get rid of... Let's finish editing that. Let them get rid of these two layers. But then we have this big negative space and like what are we supposed to do there? Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put on... Oh, that would have been disastrous. I didn't put on one of these guys. You know what? We'll put 48 because we might give this to Jared. I don't know if he's going to like it or not, but... one thing we forgot to do yesterday in his car is we forgot to put a banner on there. I mean, if there was a sweet, Mazda banner, that'd be cool. My Porsches both have Porsche banners. I don't think every car has a banner. And not every car you can change the headlight color either. But we like that. Okay. So how are we gonna pull this off? Because now I'm starting to get really attached to where that camel is, but I don't want it to be kind of boring and there's nothing there underneath of it. I mean, let me see what other decals I've got. I have... I don't think I have any other... We're going to have to go shopping for more camel decals. I mean, I've got that one. We could do something like that. I mean, we could even put this guy under there, but I would kind of want to, I want that thing right there. Maybe we could put Genuine Taste underneath of it. I mean, that would kind of work. And it's one of their taglines. See how this decal looks like it's lined up properly. That's center. That's definitely center. But then also we got to look at all this negative space we have. Are we going to run stripes down the middle like I had planned to do? And with that being obscured there, I don't know if that's an area that you would put like a logo that is like your tagline there. I mean, it would probably be more like here, so that none of that print is being obscured. Let's throw... And this is how this is how I build every livery. I kind of go through and just... I put myself, like I said, in the advertisers or the company's shoes. How would I want to represent my company? How would I want my company represented? After all, I'm paying all this money to sponsor this car. I want it to be sponsored in a manner that everyone's going to understand the iconography and all that other stuff. It can be just as easy as throwing a bunch of logos and stuff all over the place. And that's fine and dandy. I mean, we could do something like that. That's actually not too bad looking. I just would want to change the color of the hood to look like... Yeah, that's nicer. See, now you can see that silver. The silver outlines. Maybe do some frilly... I might have to gather more assets for this car. How much room do I have in this one folder? Oh, and let's go over this. Let's go over... Let's go over how to manage your decals. So we know that don't apply it just yet. Oh shit, what did I just do? Oh, it's there. Okay. Because we have a gazillion stickers in our livery, or decals in our livery, thingamajigger, it is necessary to have an organizational method for all of this. Right? You don't want to always be going through all of this crap in order to get to your stuff, because I mean, especially decals that you use regularly. Like I have all my Porsche decals all in one folder. All my Hello Kitty ones are all in one folder. All the anime ones are all in one folder. And I have another folder for just generic sponsorships, which would be like Camel and Marlboro and whatever. You know, I've got that all in one folder. Just so I don't have to do this. Oh, and let's see this. I missed this. So in order to put this into your special folders, which are under, if you look up at the top of the screen, you've got My Library, Collection, Favorites. This is just collection. What we're in right now is every single decal that I've ever downloaded. Favorites is obviously a much more specific way to search your decals for all of the ones that you use the most. Since these are all organized by date that they were created, it's going to be ridiculous to figure. It doesn't. I wish it would organize it by the time when you downloaded it, so it would just be all of the stuff that you downloaded would be the first thing, you know, first 10 or whatever decals that you see. But that's not the case. It just does it by when it was created, which, I mean, it makes sense, but then it just makes it a real pain in the ass. This one in particular, this one I've got highlighted, this Camel GT one. It looks like I skipped over it and I never put it in its proper folder. So what you do in order to get it into that folder is you hit triangle, and if you look at the bottom, there's 3 buttons. You get O, circle for close, X for select, and triangle for menu. You hit triangle, and add to favorites comes up. You just select add to favorites, and you figure out. I named all of these folders, and I made them. You can name them and make them to, you know, your heart's content. You know, I don't know what your organizational skills are like and how you like to organize stuff, but this is how I've got mine organized. So I'm going to throw it in the sponsors folder. Now, mind you, this library, it doesn't tell you whether or not you have the same of something. Like, you can download the same decal like 4 times and it won't tell you that you have already downloaded it. So you kind of have to play a guessing game too, and that's when when you go into actually like downloading all these things, all of these assets, you should really kind of have an idea what you already have in your library, because even adding to your favorites, it'll, if you are like, oh, did I add that one? I'll forget it. I'll add it again, and hopefully it'll just overwrite the one that I've already got in my library. It doesn't do that. It'll let you put as many instances of the same decal in the same library over and over and over again. It's really frustrating. Like, it doesn't tell me that. It won't even tell me, I think, when I hit. There's 100 decal limit to each one of these folders, and it doesn't tell you when you've hit that limit. I'm looking at the right hand, like little saving there on the bottom left right hand corner, and it says saving, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't tell you that, like, hey, you've filled up this thing. Like, I'm already seeing decals that, like, I don't have this one in that sponsorship one, and that's the pain in the ass. Is like, I've been doing this for a while still, for a while, and I'm still having problems like this where it's just like, these are very simple problems, but it's a problem that you have to deal with. Like, it's, once again, you're dealing with kind of with the limitations of what they give you here in this portion of the, like, I think that sponsors folder is almost full at this point. There's the blue camel. We could do the. See, I don't even have this one. This one is supposed to be in that folder, but I must have skipped right over it. Or it's either that or that folder is full now. I think it's full because I don't see the word saving on the side. So that's an example of what happens when your folder is full. Ooh, this would kind of work. It's not telling me that folder is full. So I could go, to my heart's content, downloading all these decals, and come find out that, my folders are full and I don't have any place to put them. That's going to be a very scary time. I'm gonna start running out of space here. We could use this camel and this camel, which maybe that's why I didn't put it in. So we go over to the favorites. Yeah, and sure enough, I'm at 100 of 100. I can't add any more. Decals to this. That may be the reason why I didn't have them. These didn't show up where they were supposed to be, because I think I was like, okay, well, I'm out of room now, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose. I'm gonna probably have to get rid of one of these. Let's get rid of this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that just yet. I think I might get rid of all the Twitch and YouTube ones, because I use my hyperlink now, or my link, my www.kaboom operator link. And I spam that more than, and I just tell people I'm on YouTube. I just wish YouTube would give you a nice, like, specific URL like Twitch does. It's so much easier with Twitch in that sense. I mean, I can take these out of my library. I don't necessarily. What's wrong with these? Are they just gone? Let's do that. Let's just remove them then. If they're not going to res up, then there's no reason for them to take space in my folder here. I think I might just get rid of these. I mean, let's get rid of all of these. I don't know how much more longer I'm going to use these YouTube and Twitch decals. Like I said, I've got my own hyperlinks, so I don't need to. I don't need to bang over the head that it's on Twitch and YouTube as well. I just want people to use that link. So much easier. I mean, this is a cool thing with the collections. As you see, I'm removing them from this collections folder, but they're still in my collection. I would have to actually go back into my collection, find these decals and delete them in order for them to not be for them not to take room in my allotment of 1,000 decals. But this does free up room for this folder now, so I can put all those camel decals in here now if I wanted to. But once again, these are not leaving my collection. They're still all in my collection. I'm going to get rid of this one bee because it looks like it's different from all the other bees I've got. Or I have. And I really need to go through my collection and kind of curate it a little bit and just make it a little bit more tidy because I know I have a few doubles here and there. I really wish that they made it so that you couldn't do that. And they are legitimately doubles from the same creator. So it isn't like two tags that look similar, but are made by two different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like downloading a decal from someone and doing it twice, and the system doesn't tell you that you've downloaded it already. I'm pretty sure I've gone through most of these and kind of weeded out the doubles that are doubles made by two different creators. But I really should kind of go through here and start doing a little bit more managing work of trying to get just the ones that I will use, because this is limited space. I now have 504 out of 1,000 decals that I can download. I've been thinking of dumping all these Audi decals because I was going to drive for Audi for a second there, but then I was just like, I'm going to just drive for Porsche. So I should probably dump a bunch of these Audi decals, and because I want to try to like make some space for this camel livery. And it looks like Audi is taking a lot of stuff. You know what? Let's just get rid of a lot of it. Oh, no. I actually have an Audi folder, don't I? That way I can also free up the Audi folder that I think I've made already. Yeah, and I can make that something else. Because I don't drive any Audi cars. It's not that I don't like them. I don't think I'm going to really mess with Audi too much on this game. But I definitely need to make space in my collection here for stuff that I'm going to use more often. I mean, I want to make sure that I still have space to download things. But I want to try to keep the collection down to like things I know I'm going to use. Because there's so many like possibilities with what's out there already. We use that Porsche one, the Porsche.com one, quite a bit. I could honestly probably make my own version of that, but that would mean it would still... Actually, if I did make my own version of that, that wouldn't count against my livery or maybe these decals, because I think I think it categorizes personal decals as a completely separate category. So we can always make that. That's not a big deal. But anything Audi, we're going to just get rid of altogether. I've got all these Wakanda Forever ones too that I'll probably just get rid of. Like that one, not so hot on it anymore now that I look at it. This door plate I'm definitely not going to use, so we'll get rid of that guy. I like the Wakanda Forever. This Bandai, we'll get rid of that because I just don't like the color. I don't like the shade of red. It's a little too dark. I'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of this one. So all of this I can generate myself. I've got nicer fonts too. I'm a big Helvetica fan. Now we're going to get really nerdy because we're going to talk about fonts. I'm a font fiend. I love my fonts, especially Helvetica and Futura. If you ever watched a Wes Anderson movie, he loves Futura. We'll get rid of that one. Almost all of Wes Anderson's movies use the Futura font. If you don't know what font that is, go check out a Volkswagen ad. I think they may have changed it just recently to a different font. But if you like look at ads from like a year or two ago, they were still using Futura, I think. Now we're getting to like really boring, really boring territory of conversation. Sorry, guys. I'm a super nerd. So I've got these LAPD stickers because we could definitely get rid of that because we can make our own shit now. Because I got rewarded one of those safety cars, and I was gonna do a LAPD car as a, what is it? I think it was a GTR. Between these two, I will keep it. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna dump it. I'm gonna dump one of these. We'll dump that one because I don't like that one as much as the other one. I don't know how people make these. I really don't. I would imagine maybe they use Photoshop or something. The only other thing I could think of is maybe they go through and use something like Figma or something to cut out these decals. Maybe. You know, some of this stuff is like, you know, you have to have the font, and the fonts, sometimes if it's something that is like this Quattro font, for example, something that is kind of like a trademark font, you can't get it because it's specific to that one product. You know, we can realistically, you know what, we'll keep those because I was saying that I would delete all of these Rossmann Porsche stickers because I can legitimately make them with I can just put them in and change the color. That's another thing that you can do in the livery editor is that most decals you can change, you know, parameters like color and stuff. Some of them have it locked in and others don't. I would honestly, you know, be willing to dump all of them except for one of these, like the white one I would probably keep. But the reason why I have them in multiple colors is because of that's this black drop shadow that's behind the Rossmann and the Porsche and that line. If I go to change the color of this decal, it'll treat the whole decal as one decal. It won't look at the black drop shadow. So yeah, I would lose that because it would just change it all to being one color. So I got to keep the. I don't know if that made any sense. But that's why I'm keeping all of those. But I'm going to lose all my Audi Philippines tags. How am I going to show my Filipino pride? I'm about as close to the Filipino as a wolf to a dog. I was born and raised here. My parents are from the country, from the motherland, but I was born here and raised here with a spoon in my mouth and Lucky Charms in my lap. So I love Lucky Charms. It's a shame to see all these Audi decals go, because they really did download some cool ones. Some of them are questionable now that I'm looking at it. I honestly don't like how the R8 drives in this game. I'm not a big fan of. I like the R8 in real life. I have a real thing with Audi though, being a Volkswagen driver. Is that I wouldn't. I can't say that I'm a huge Volkswagen Auto Group fan. And for anyone that's uninitiated, hold on, I'm gonna change my chair here real quick. Give me a second. Oh god, could have been disastrous. As I was saying, for the uninitiated, my god, this microphone. Okay. Volkswagen Auto Group doesn't just mean Volkswagen. Over the course of the last couple decades, Volkswagen has been acquiring several different companies. Audi is one of them. So is Bentley, Volkswagen, Audi, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Ducati, Seat, Porsche, part owners. Volkswagen's a part owner in Porsche. I don't think they count it as part of the VAG group, but they're definitely partially owned by Volkswagen. But VAG group cars, actually no, they are, because I'm pretty sure there are parts now at least on my Volkswagen, that are on a Porsche somewhere. But the VAG, Volkswagen Auto Group, they own a bunch of different cars, and there's similarities across all of the lines about like parts that they use. Like some Porsches use Volkswagen parts and some Audis use Porsche parts. The best example, this all happened around 2004 with Porsche and Audi and Volkswagen specifically. I think that's when Volkswagen became like very major investors. At least did something as to the degree that they kind of bought out Porsche. So what was happening is there was a truck called the Tiguan, the Touareg, that Volkswagen made, SUV. Great SUV, an amazing SUV. Well, what a lot of people didn't know is that at the same time, Porsche made their own SUV, the Cayenne. What a lot of people didn't know is that the Touareg and the Cayenne were practically the same car. The only thing that was really kind of dividing the two were like a couple of engine differences. Like I think the V6, they had a V6 Touareg, that was had a like a Volkswagen VR6 motor in it. No, actually, that was just a regular. That was a conventional V6 motor inside that in the Touareg. Um, but the V8 version was a Porsche motor, and all of the chassis and all of the interior stuff. Maybe the V8 wasn't the Porsche. Maybe the motors stayed different. But either way, um, if you bought a Touareg, you were basically buying a Porsche. Uh, there was another car called the. Oh, I wanted one for so long. This all came out kind of the same time that when I bought my R32. Um, these three cars came out from Volkswagen that were all had Volkswagen badges, looked like Volkswagens, but were actually different cars. Like for example, my R32, all it was an Audi TT V6 VR6 stuffed into a Golf body, and it was funny because that car was like a Frankenstein of cars, and you can tell that um, they didn't intend for the car to have the things that it had. So the R32, when it came out, was a VR6, a 3.2 liter VR6 with all-wheel drive. Um, by nature, the Golf and GTIs are front-wheel drive cars that are 4 cylinders. Now, there were a couple of, during that model run, which is the Mark IV model run, there were a couple of iterations or a couple of versions of the GTI or that had a VR6, or at least had a V6, not maybe not quite a VR6, but had a V6. But that chassis really wasn't made for. It was made for like a 4-cylinder, and it definitely was made for a front-wheel drive car. So, in order to shoehorn the all-wheel drive system into a car that is generally known as a front-wheel drive car, they had to kind of cut into the wheel well in the back, or the spare tire well in the back, so that it was one of the first cars I think that didn't offer a spare tire because you couldn't fit it back there. The differential for the all-wheel drive system was back there, so I got like, they gave me Fix-A-Flat and a compressor, but I had no spare tire. And let me tell you how many times that compressor and that Fix-A-Flat came in handy. 0. Like every time I blew out a tire, I blew out a tire. No Fix-A-Flat or compressor was gonna fix it. But that's kind of an example. They just took whatever, all the innards from a TT, stuffed it into the Golf, and they were like, okay, there you go. Let's see what happens. The same thing with the Touareg. The Touareg was the same deal where they just stuffed Porsche stuff into a Touareg, into a Volkswagen chassis, and they're like, okay, go. Let's try to sell this thing. And the funny thing is when you talk to Cayenne owners, it's either they always go, they always ask, like, or they say this, like, if you want to buy a Cayenne, just go buy a Touareg, because it's the same exact car. And then there was a Bentley that Volkswagen made, and it was called the I wanted one for such a long time. I can't remember what it's called. Really sweet car. Doug DeMuro. If you watch like car videos, there's a guy named Doug DeMuro, and he does a review of the car, and he even says it's one of the smartest cars ever made. It's such an ingenious car, and it had all these things, but it basically, at the base model of the car was basically a Bentley, and the reason why it didn't sell very well, and I remember everyone talking about it, was that it was one of the only Volkswagens to ever come out that was over $110,000. I think it was like $110,000 or $125,000 is what they were asking for it. And everyone was just like, who's going to buy a $125,000 Volkswagen? but it wasn't. It was, for all intents and purposes, was a Bugatti. I mean, it was, or Bentley. It was every bit a Bentley, and nothing really Volkswagen in it. It was, honestly, it was kind of like a test bed, and that was the same thing with the R32 series. I mean, now it's the Volkswagen R, and everyone, oh, Volkswagen R, let's get the Volkswagen R. It's the Volkswagen R was a real test. The R32 was a test to see if they could stimulate a part of the buyer market that Volkswagen was losing at that point in time. They were losing, the tuna market and all the young people, and they were noticing that their demographic was kind of, it was all of these people that wanted to drive the Golf and the Jetta, and there's nothing wrong with that, but those people are like, 40, 50 years old, and they wanted to try to kind of bolster the youth demographic. And they did. They successfully, got the youth game back into it. Because the GTI was, at that point, too, also getting very fat and nasty around the corners. Like the Mark IV GTIs are kind of, they're cool cars, but they're kind of awful. I'll even say that about my R32. I loved that car. I probably would have never gotten rid of it if I could have. But I honestly just didn't have the space for two cars, and there was no reason for me to hold on to two cars. So I just got rid of it. And what, 12, 15 years later, 100,000 miles, I was still able to get rid of that car for like $19,000. When I bought that car for $32,000. Really limited edition car, and they only made like 4,000 or 5,000 of them. 5,000 of them made it to the U.S., and I can't remember how many they made worldwide. But I was able to get a good chunk of money back on that car. Here we are. We haven't even we haven't even looked at. We were going to the livery thing to find camel decals. Let's see if we can find some more camel. Now that we've cleared out our folder, let's go find some camel decals. I've done this search before, obviously, because you've seen the decals that I've already got and already have in my collection, but it never hurts to have a couple more. I like this one. This one's nice. That might work with the motif we're going for. We'll just give them live. We'll add to our collection. And let's move on. Let's see what else we've got. No, already got something like that. This is going to be a tough deal, trying to make a car. We've already got something like that. Don't want any of that. That font isn't right. Nope. And I can do that anyway myself. Ooh, we could use a Camel Trophy, but that's more for the Camel Trophy cars or truck. So that probably wouldn't fit what we're trying to do here. No, these are all wrong. I already got that one Camel GT on the right, so I don't want to re-download it. Once again, because it doesn't tell you whether... Now, this is kind of nice. I don't know... And I would get these Camel Trophy ones, but these are more for like the trophy truck, I think, that ran the Paris-Dakar Rally like in the early 90s, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what those are coming from. I mean, this one's nice. But I think that's a number plate. I'm trying to... I definitely don't think it's like a date, like a 35-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure that's the number plate. Camels are way older than 35 years. No. No. Some people have just really got it wrong. I mean, I like the effort and I like the creativity, but it's not the brand. We already have that one, don't we? I wish I could see that. It's like, that's another thing that this function really just does really terrible at. It's just, no. I don't even know what I'm looking for. See, like, camel trophy adventure. That tells me that camel trophy tag is more for like an off-road vehicle than it is for an on-road vehicle. Like, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go on like a Land Rover or something. That yellow one, I don't know if I have that. I mean, I guess if I do, then it doesn't really matter because I can always just erase it. Oh, it's this one. I mean, that's cool enough. I'm really split on this though. I mean, I would like to do, maybe I can do like a mixture of the two, like the martini and the camel livery, where instead of using red and blue and dark blue, I could use maroon, dark maroon, and let's look at a martini livery. Just rip it off. Let's look at car livery. Let's look at a full car livery. I want to see if there's a martini Atenza maybe, and see what they did with it. I know there was that one that we found on the internets, but it would be kind of cool if there was. Oh, let's do group 3. Atenza. Group 3. That way we can get over the idea of doing a camel and a martini livery all at once. And we could do like a mashup and mash the two up and make a sweet ass martini inspired camel livery. Why not? It's America. It's America. You can do anything you damn want, man. Do everything you damn want. Gonna date on, well. Alright, let's see here. Come on, really? Let's look at martini, and we won't confuse the search engine too much. Sometimes you give the search engine too many parameters and it just doesn't know what to do with itself. See how many martini cars that are out there. So we want to do something different. Maybe we can make. Let's look at this Lancia, because this Lancia one is one of the more popular like martini liveries. This is kind of like a classic martini Lancia stripy thingamajigger. We do have a boxy car we're dealing with the Atenza. So maybe something like this where we can make. We need 3 colors from camel, which would be. We could make dark red, like a maroon red, maybe a hot red, which would be the dark blue. And that red stripe, we could make the tan color, maybe? Trying to get all those lines to meet up, too, is going to be a pain in the ass. Just because, well, I mean, I could do the same thing. I just lay the livery on, or the decal on top of each other, and it should behave itself. Let's take a look at this one. This one doesn't look, it looks good, but no, there's way too much going on. This guy like literally threw on every decal that you can in the book on this thing. There would be no. This is a no in and if you're watching, I'm sorry whoever created this. Not only that but he put a Nissan sticker on the A pillar on a BMW M3. This is an example of someone who's just slamming shit on top of a car. They probably got the martini stripes from because I've seen those in the decal thingamajigger. They didn't even match them. They're like two different. Look at the reds. They're completely different. And he just slapped them on the car. Now, I'm not going to knock him because at least he tried. But if you're trying to make a car look realistic, this is not what a realistic car would look like. Your sponsors would be like, why is there a 4Gamer.net sticker over the Red Bull sticker? And BMW would be asking, why is there a 4Gamer sticker on top of our BMW sticker? You wouldn't do that. You would make sure that you would keep the sponsors happy and make sure that whatever that is that you're trying to sell for them is not obscured by something else. That is overkill in one livery right there. Very easy to do. This is just done. This one is just done to the max. Like there's no symmetry going on. Maybe that's part of the design aspect of it. But like if you look around, there's no symmetry to anything. He may have done the flip on reverse thing, but look where this Porsche sticker is. Look at the stripe down the middle is even centered. You know, it's literally been slapped together, it looks like. Which is, you know, it works. It can work. It's not advisable, but it can work. That's really nice. This is kind of more of the speed that I'm talking about. Like, that's really slick. And this has probably been achieved by... Well, that's really good looking. Someone did spend a lot of time on this one. It looks like... I can't tell, but it looks like the stripe may have been a downloaded part. Maybe? I think it was because it looks like it's fuzzy. So this isn't something that someone made. This is... Or someone made with the livery editor. It looks like he may have downloaded... Or they may have downloaded... that stripe asset, you know, the multiple red blue thing stripe. They may have downloaded that and then just stretched it out real big, because it looks like it's breaking up right around the window, that rear window area. Because I don't know how I would be able to do that in the livery editor. I mean, the only way I could think of doing something like that is to lay down the darkest color first, and then the 5 other stripes would be layers on top of that. But then you also have to deal with the curves of the car. I mean, we'll try to do something like that. I really do like the effect though, because it makes it look like looks like the car is going fast. I'm gonna try something like that. I don't know if I can pull that off with a camel car though. It's gonna be tough. This might be this may be one of the tougher designs I've tried. It's just, and I do like this too. I like the classic martini. It's almost like the Golf mask where it starts out wide and then it narrows itself. That's very, very classic martini racing livery. This is the one I like the most. Is the side, how clean that whole part looks. The martini racing sticker. Let's take a look at this car. Wow, look at the work done on this one. This one's really nice. I didn't mean to do that, but we just added to our collection. I don't think I'll ever own this car. Yeah, that's really nice. Look at that. It's very, very nice work. That looks like it was done in the livery editor. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at the curves of the lines and whether or not they're fuzzy and like broken up looking. That's usually a dead giveaway that they're just, it's a decal that they may have picked up in the livery store and they've just blown it up. But this one, wow. The more I look at it, the more that's really nice work. Very nice work. That's really cool. Let's see what this one looks like. So we kind of got we have an idea of, let's see if we can pull off the stripes ourselves. Let's try loading up our Atenza. And let's try doing that ourselves with this maroon, this brown. We're gonna probably just start getting into this. At the very end of the stream here, but that'll just give us an excuse to do tomorrow. I don't know. This might be the shape that we need to use. If I can get it big enough and skew it enough so that it's straight. Let's see if we can skew it enough to get kind of straight, but kind of. We still want it to have its thickness. We also want it to be straighter than that, maybe? I don't know. Can we get, how wide can I get this thing? The bigger I make it, it looks like the more straighter, because obviously okay, that makes sense why it does that. Well, that's kind of cool. The stripe that goes. Just hope it's not hitting that. Just hoping it's not hitting that spoiler down there. Almost just to make sure. Let's change the color of that spoiler just so that we know whether or not we're affecting that part of the car. We'll make it we'll give it that camel red for now. That's probably close enough. Well, we probably should pick that out. Like I said, I still don't know if I want to do a whole camel themed like Williams Martini livery. Meaning that red is probably somewhere, and I'm looking at the picker. It's probably like that. It's somewhere in that zone, so that looks fine. That's close enough for me. Let's start with that. I'm just doing that so I know whether or not this white stripe, because like I showed before, sometimes it will distort and end up in spots of the car that I don't want it to be. So I need to be able to kind of manage that. Now, what I could do, now that I'm thinking about it, let's make that stripe. We said that the middle of the stripe would be the tan color. So let me try to do this. Let's try duplicating this layer. And then we'll turn it, we'll make it a red color. Just to see if we can't get away with doing it this way. And then let's take this layer and we will put it above the other layer. And then let's try making it smaller. Let's scale it down a little bit. Hopefully this will behave itself when we scale it down. When we scale it down, I don't want it to lose the basic shape we've got here going. Which see is, as I scale, see how I'm losing the, so I have to continue to skew it, I think. But it's not scaling evenly. Like, you have to be really careful about how you do this, because the scale, you have to kind of play with it. You can kind of get this in the middle there, if that'd be great. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be even. I want it to maintain a very even, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Hold on, let me skew it again. Shit, wrong button. L1. If I can skew it vertically, that's better. This is when the skew function really comes into play. This delivery might actually take a little while because we're going to be doing real accurate work like this. Maybe I can do that. Shit, you know what? I just thought of this. The projection method, I think, might be aligned to body, which isn't what. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, I'm feeling a little. Nope, nope. Cancel. No. No. Don't do that. Let's go back down. I'm going to scale it down so it fits. And then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the thickness of this red line, the red border, to be uniform all the way down. And it's real tough because you kind of have to work with an object that is behaving badly. L1 skew. Vertical. No. Maybe like that. No. Vertical. Yeah, this is going to be a beast. This is going to be hard. This will be a hard task. So let's see, what time is it now? It's 6:52, and we are at 3:34. I think I might call it quits for this stream. But I think this might be what we will be doing tomorrow. Is we'll be doing a little bit more mid-livery editing. Because I would like to kind of start messing with shapes I don't normally mess with. Like, I don't ever really make curves like this in my designs. And since this is kind of like the diagonal line that I usually do, maybe I'll do the inverse of it this time around, or maybe I'll just do a straight line going across. But I kind of like the whole idea of making it a camel themed car. So let's just return to this tomorrow. I think I might work on the hood first, and maybe in the time between streams I'll download more assets. But I really think I have all the assets I need in order to pull this thing off. Let me just conclude today's broadcast and think about this. I have to eat dinner. I'm starving right now. And then I also have the Halloween special to host later on tonight. So I think this is a good stopping point at this point. And we'll work on this tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be Sunday. You know, it'll be the day after Halloween. It'll be a fun thing to do while you sit around and stuff your face full of Malamars or whatever you got for Halloween. I still want to mess with this. I don't want to leave it with this hanging out. Okay, we'll just do this. We'll delete those. We'll just come back to this tomorrow and then try to tackle it. And I'm gonna look at a couple more liveries and try to find one that I kind of want to emulate with this car. So I need to kind of find something that's kind of the same body shape and has either camel markings or martini markings. But I think we've got a good start. We at least have an idea of what we want to do with this guy. So let's end the stream. For anyone that is watching, thank you so much for being part of my day. I'm glad I could be part of your day. And for anyone that's watching this later on, thank you so much. And if you want to see an awesome video game and listen to me scream my fucking head off, tune in later on tonight for the Alien Isolation stream. I've been doing it around 10 or 11. Probably will be the same tonight, like 10 or 11, maybe 10:30. Come and join. It's a fun time. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this car right now, and I'm thinking of where we can take this design. Anyhow, okay. Well, you guys have a fantastic night. And be safe, be happy. Happy Halloween, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.